Metabolic and hormone health can have a big impact on your mood, your overall sense of well being, and the reverse is also true. The way that you're feeling and functioning in the world can influence your hormones. So, today I want to talk to you a little bit about nervous system regulation and tools that we can use to bring ourselves into balance in order to naturally bring our metabolic health, our hormones, and our well being into balance. So, your nervous system has two major pathways. The sympathetic pathway, which is the fight or flight response. This is the feeling that you get when you're very stressed. This response evolved in our ancestors when they had to escape danger quickly. So, this is the fight or flight response traditionally. When our ancestors were chased by a bear, all of a sudden they had a big rush of adrenaline and they were able to get away. But at the same time, when you have that big rush of adrenaline and you escape danger, your gut gets somewhat shut down. We shunt our resources away from digestion. You're really unable to rest or relax, of course, because you're trying to escape danger. And a number of hormones are released into the bloodstream that, if there for prolonged periods of time, will cause imbalances in your metabolism and hormone health. What's different about our current lives than that of our ancestors is that we are luckily rarely chased by bears, but because of our constant connection to devices, the pressures of being in an always connected society in the sense of active notifications and watches and demands on our attention from screens, sometimes we get stuck in that hypervigilant loop that can feel a lot like that fight or flight response. In those situations, cortisol levels become higher, which raises your insulin, which is your fat storage hormone, and can also increase your hunger levels and make it difficult to get restorative sleep. So, when I work with men and women to balance hormones and also to improve metabolic health in order to live at a healthy weight, I find that nervous system regulation is very important and can be a key in achieving success when the other things are not necessarily working quite as well. So how do we intentionally regulate our nervous system? We talked about that fight or flight, the sympathetic nervous system, the rush of energy, the being a little bit keyed up. The opposite of that is the parasympathetic nervous system, which is controlled by the vagus nerve. That is the largest nerve in the parasympathetic nervous system. This is your rest and digest system. So just as we can get into that fight or flight response fairly quickly when your boss calls you into the office, or you've missed the train, or there's a stressful conflict at work, we can intentionally get into the parasympathetic state. And because our modern lives sometimes keep us in that sympathetic state, we have to do intentional work to bring ourselves into the parasympathetic state. And how do we do that? So there are a number of different ways, and it will be somewhat different for different people. The way that you know you're in that parasympathetic state is that you are sort of in a flow state. So when your parasympathetic nervous system is online, you feel calm, you feel creative, you are able to rest, and there isn't that sort of gnawing anxiety. So what can we do to get there? The traditional way that we teach people to bring their vagus nerve or parasympathetic nervous system online is breathing exercises or breath work. One simple exercise that, if you do for just 5 minutes, can help bring your nervous system back into alignment is called the box breath. So this is when we take a breath for a count of 6, then we hold it at the top for 6, and then release for 6 seconds, and hold before you take another breath for 6 seconds. So it looks something like this. So you inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can count in your head and do that for about 5 minutes, and you'll feel your whole state change. So these small exercises can actually make a big difference in some issues that we're looking to medicines to fix. This can improve your sleep and bring your hormones and metabolic health into balance. Now, other techniques to bring your parasympathetic nervous system online can just be connection with someone you feel really safe and happy with, social connection. For some people, a warm bath will really help calm you down. There are people who really enjoy adult coloring books, so just spending some time doing something that does not have you on a screen, but that is sort of repetitive. For others, light exercise can certainly bring the parasympathetic nervous system online. But the goal is to, we're often stuck in this way of living where we're putting productivity and tasks first. And sometimes we have to check in and we have to restore ourselves in order to bring us into our healthiest state and to let everything else that we're doing in our lives actually work and help you reach your goals.